Good evening, everyone. My name is Brandon Libao. Welcome to Hawaii's Creepy Crawlers, the poisonous spiders found in Hawaii. Mr. Pugsley, could you please look by your feet real quick? Okay, so that is called arachnophobia. It's a fear of spiders and other arachnids. Most people think it's ridiculous, but after this presentation, we'll hope some of you think they actually have some pretty good points. Okay? All right, so the spider population in Hawaii. There are between 35 to 40 species of spiders commonly found in Hawaii, although only 10% of them can actually be poisonous to you. Okay? Here are the three main ones we're going to focus on. They are the brown widow, the brown violin, and the southern black widow. All right, we're going to start with the brown widow, Latrodectus geometricus. Okay. So, we're going to talk about some identifying physical characteristics. The body length of the brown widow is around 1.25 centimeters. This is not including the legs. It has a light tan body with some striped legs between dark and lighter tan, and a orange hourglass on the bottom of females' abdomens. It is a little wider, and just remember, it's orange. Okay? So, habitat. They obviously prefer tropical climates, like caves and other dark areas with heavy vegetation. That's why they come to Hawaii. Okay. So next, we're going to talk about the brown violin. The brown violin is not to be confused with the brown recluse, which is a common misconception given to you by probably many sources. After speaking with the head entomologist of the Department of Health Vector Control, he specified that just so don't get them mixed up. The brown violin, brown recluse, very different. Okay. However, here are some physical characteristics of the brown violin. It maxes out at almost 2 centimeters in length. It has a lighter brown body, and what really sets it apart and a distinguishing factor is the fact that it has what looks to be like a fiddle or a violin pattern on the back of its body. Okay, so habitat, unlike the other poisonous spiders that are presented here, the brown violin does prefer dry areas. Other than that, everything's basically the same. So the symptoms, they're classified into 3 classes. Mild to moderate is this one right here. There's some itching and redness, mild lesion, but it is self-healing because there hasn't been a antivenom produced for this specific toxin. The dermonecrotic stage looks just like this. You got all this necrosis right here building up around the ulcer, and systemic, which is the most severe of all of them. It causes body-wide symptoms, renal failure, and intravascular hemolysis, which leads to hemolytic anemia, breakdown of red blood cells within the blood vessels. All right, so this is the reason why brown violin has such a dangerous toxin. It has this enzyme, sphingomyelinase D. It catalyzes the breakdown of, sphingomyelin, which is a glycolipid found in the cell membrane's bilipid layer. Sphingomyelinase breaks down sphingomyelin into ceramide, which meets with another enzyme, which is ceramide kinase, and eventually becomes ceramide 1-phosphate, which causes apoptosis in cells. Programmed death, guys. Okay? And of course, the most infamous, the southern black widow. Okay? As you can see, remember that picture because it relates to what the real black widow looks like. Way up top. All right, so here's the real black widow. It maxes out about 1.5 centimeters. It's gloss black with a red hourglass on the bottom, as opposed to the orange that's on the bottom of the brown widow. And it's thinner. The hourglass is a little bit thinner, as you can see down there. Okay, same habitat, same reason why it's in Hawaii. Moist climates, dark places, shrubs, vegetation. All right, so toxicology and symptoms. Cause localized swelling at the site of the bite, nausea and vomiting, abdominal pain, hyperhidrosis, which is excessive sweating in all parts of the body, muscle spasms, tachycardia, hypertension, and in the most severe of cases, neurological symptoms such as confusion. However, it's not very common, so we're not going to really discuss it too much. This right here is latrotoxin. It's a neurotoxin that exerts its effects on the presynaptic cell in mammalian neurons. So this tetramer right here is a buildup of 4 monomers. Oh, actually, latrotoxin, when it's injected, comes as a dimer already. So as it comes, when it binds and becomes a tetramer, it's able to bind, and when it binds to this receptor in the presynaptic neuron, it starts this influx of calcium. All this calcium in the system activates the neuron, depolarizes it, and it starts releasing a whole bunch of neurotransmitters, such as dopamine and neuromuscular junctions, which causes the muscle spasms, and norepinephrine in cardiac systems might cause hypertension and tachycardia. Okay, so treatment of latrotoxin, initial first aid, analgesics for pain, antihypertensive medications for hypertensive crisis, barbiturates if it does become neurological. Barbiturates are there for extreme cases of restlessness. There is an antivenom called antivenin. It's made from horse serum and calcium gluconate, which stops muscle cramping. Okay, so what did we learn today? The 3 most infamous poisonous spiders are the brown widow, brown violin, black widow. Severity of symptoms vary, and the climate that they live in or that they prefer is especially why they love Hawaii. Recommendations for not getting bit, or what you can apply in real life, is avoid sticking your unprotected skin, such as hands and feet, in dark areas that you can't see. They love hanging there. They're not aggressive, but if you touch them, they are going to bite you. Avoid stockpiling materials such as lumber and rocks and this and that on your property. If you start to see them, start knocking down webs and stuff like that. Now you're able to recognize the 3 most dangerous spiders. Obviously, stay away from them. And you gotta have a basic knowledge of first aid, because the puncture wounds, as with any break in the skin, does leave you susceptible to infection. Here are some references that you guys can look up. A couple of really good scholarly articles to tell you a little bit more in detail about the toxic effects of these spider bites. Do we have any questions? Okay, well, thank you all for coming, and I hope you guys learned a little something tonight.